Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. The first game of the NFL season in the year, God's year of 2025, has been announced. I saw it this morning, didn't think it was real. Then I saw it again, and I said, okay, maybe it is real. And I immediately text the Birds vs. Boys chat. In turn, when Aiden found out, I believe. We have Birds vs. Boys in Philadelphia, Thursday night, September 4th, to open the season. The banners will be raised. Jerry Jones will be in the house. I hope he is watching. He'll probably be at the snack bar. But it's happening in real life, on our TVs, or possibly in front of our actual eyes. Aiden?
I'm over the moon. I can't believe this is happening. I was convinced it was going to be the Rams and they would sell it as the playoff rematch from a year ago on NBC. Then it was the last NBC game and it was the first NBC game of this year. Would have totally made sense, but wow, I'm thrilled. I cannot believe that it's Eagles Cowboys to start it. I wouldn't want this any other way. This is perfect.
I was thinking Washington too, possibly, because
that was another one. It's crazy. There were so many. Our schedule's very tough. The Eagles' schedule this year, very tough. So there's a lot of good options. And I thought maybe Commanders. And just the sheer fact that it's division alone, whether it was the Commanders or the Cowboys, that alone was shocking. But this is thrilling.
Like I said, I've been asking for this with you. I've been saying, now listen, I'm not asking for this. I don't want Eagles fans to come at me and be like, oh, bro, you think you're going to come beat the Super Bowl champs? That's not why I'm asking for it. I was asking for it because I want it shoved in Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones' faces. Now, to the Cowboy homers, I'm not saying that's going to change anything, okay? I just want in my little brain, I want some I don't know what I want, but I want them to have to sit there and pity like little tiny men and have to look at the banner being raised, at how their rival is doing it the right way. And they had an okay off season, but it's I'm very surprised it's happening because Aiden, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but it's like, it almost feels like it's like a waste of a Cowboys game, because this game is going to get ratings no matter what. No matter who it is, it would be huge, right?
Yes. I do know what you mean. It feels like you could play this game anywhere. Ratings bonanza both ways. Like season opener, they could have thrown the fucking Savannah Bananas out there and it would have sold out and it would have done huge ratings. And every time Cowboys Eagles is going to be huge ratings no matter what month, what day, what week. It doesn't really matter. So it's a little surprising they chose it for week one. But I am, again, just so glad that they did. I went back and looked. Just divisional games. We're not talking Eagles, Cowboys. I'm talking season opener, Super Bowl champion, hosts, divisional games. So going back, let's take a look at it. Last year, Ravens at Chiefs. Year before, Lions at Chiefs. The year before was Bills, Rams. That was wiped from my brain. I did not remember that game happened at all.
I don't remember that at all.
Year before that, Texans, Chiefs. Packers Bears was the last divisional game, and that was because it was the centennial. It was a historic moment for the NFL and for Green Bay. So that was the last divisional game we got. The last divisional matchup featuring a Super Bowl champion to start the year was 2012, Giants hosting Cowboys. So it's been over a decade since we've gotten this. So that alone is shocking. And then for it to be Birds versus Boys to be the one, I can't believe it.
It's just poetic and perfect. And on the other side, too, you said the Brazil game. I think that's a travesty that is a division game. Can you imagine if they took away like the Eagles home game against the Cowboys and like, all right, you're on a neutral field. Like those are the two best teams in that division. You can't take a home game away.
Yeah, I agree. I did see it's leaked. It's the Chargers Chiefs, right?
Chiefs, yeah.
I guess if it's a home game for the Chargers, maybe because they don't draw the same. But you're right. It's tough. It's a tough one to swallow when you get a home game taken away, and it's the furthest road game you could possibly imagine dressed as a home game. That one is tough. But we made it through last year, and then we made it all the way through to the end, and then we won a Super Bowl, and now we get to do a banner. We get to do a banner in front of the Cowboys. I cannot believe
it. Do you think the NFL was like, all right, we're putting the Cowboys week one against the Eagles because we want to be able to talk about Dak and Hurts, and we don't want to put it week 7 because Dak's already going to be hurt, and we're just going to have to talk about Milton and Hurts.
I do think there's an aspect to that where it's like we haven't gotten this matchup. It's talked about a lot, and now we're finally going to get it between these two quarterbacks. Where
Hopefully,
I was going to say, hopefully, anybody can get hurt during training camp, but realistically, both of these guys don't have to go through the wear and tear of the season before they make it to each other. I do think it's a strong matchup, and maybe they say to themselves, and again, I think this needs to be a wake-up call for the Cowboys brass of what this is, where we always think, well, this is a ratings bonanza. This will always play. And like last year, we got shifted out of Sunday Night Football, and we were a 1:00 game by the end of the year against each other. They could be saying to themselves, now we got to save the ratings bonanza when it's Lions Eagles. We want that to be our primetime game. We got to save Rams Eagles. That's got to be Sunday Night Football again. We got to save those ones. We'll put the Cowboys first. So it could be a wake-up call, too, for the Cowboys brass. Like, hey, you are not the shining star anymore. There are other teams that we consider prime time.
And this is perfect here. I'm just going to turn my thing around right now. There is a kid walking home from school just clapping away wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey right now. That is a
Kevin,
number one Jalen
day.
Hurts jersey coming home from school, and he's literally just been clapping the whole way as he's been walking down the road.
That's me. That's me. But 20 years ago, I might be a little taller than that kid, but that's how I walk around town. I just can't believe it. Every time I look, like I went and I got this shirt, and it was like, oh, this is a sick shirt, and I was like, oh, there's 2 Super Bowls on here. Every day I'm reminded we did it. We really did it. And just to think about how full circle this is going to come within the NFC East with this moment. We take last offseason, it begins. We take Saquon Barkley from the Giants. He becomes Offensive Player of the Year. At the end of the season, how do we get to this Super Bowl? We beat the Commanders, who put up 55 in the NFC Championship game. And now, after winning the Super Bowl, we culminate that year that was by putting up a banner in front of the Dallas Cowboys. It is perfect. Down to the last detail. This year has been perfect. It does not get better than this.
And now, Mr. Booker, welcome to the NFL. Here's Jalen Carter.
Oh, like that. This has the potential. I think Tyler Booker is going to be good.
So do I.
We're going to attempt the world's earliest preview next week of this game. So I don't want to go too much into the X's and O's of what the game could look like, but we thought it'd be a pretty funny bit to preview this game in May. Well, the clip of the person saying that Tyler Booker was drafted to be the Jalen Carter stopper could truly break records for how badly it's timed. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's like last year. I don't know if you remember Tyler Guyton, welcome to the NFL. Here's Myles Garrett week 1.
Yeah, we previewed that, and we were like, this could be a bad decision. Now, the Cowboys did win that game, and they looked great. The defense looked great.
Only time they did all year.
Yeah, true. I do think for this game, another thing from the Eagles' perspective, it's a good matchup. Just being realistic. And again, we're going to do the world's earliest preview next week, but I think the car that is the Eagles is not just going to go 0 to 80 this year. I do think that there are some kinks that they got to work out. We got to rotate the tires. We got to get the oil change. There's a lot of things we got to do to the car. We've got a new offensive coordinator. We got new pieces on defense. We're going to have young guys playing on defense. So if they would have played the Rams in week 1, I would have said to myself, yeah, there's a good chance the Rams win that game. They're pretty much the same.
Yep.
That's the same pie as last year. All the ingredients are the same. Lions a little bit different, but Rams, same team. Cowboys, on the other hand, they got a lot of new things too. New coaches, new coordinators, new running game. First year without Zach Martin on the line. How do they react without Demarion Overshown on defense, who played really well against the Eagles a year ago? So I do think from a matchup point, this is definitely better for the Eagles.
The Cowboys are a 96 Civic that has neons, and that's what it sounds like when you're driving. It looks cool, right?
Yeah.
But it also has a brand new driver who's never driven a Civic before. First time ever he's usually, in the back seat or in the passenger seat. He's actually driving the Civic now. It needs, it's got spare parts all over it. The rims look cool, but the treads on the tires are very thin. So, the neons look cool, but there might be a bulb or two out, right? The tint looks good, but the back left window's peeling. So from a distance, it looks far. But when you get up close, it's still a 96 Civic.
The Eagles are the opposite, where they're one of those like foreign domestic car or foreign cars you see that are like this is the potential to be like one of those foreign cars on the side of the road that are super expensive that gets stranded in Dubai because the owner like doesn't know how to use it and stuff like that, or they don't know how to pay for it logistically. It just kind of they just abandoned one of those foreign like really expensive cars that you always see like in Dubai. So we don't know yet. It's the same offense, but it's a different guy driving the car.
I mean, and it is just going to be all summer long. Twitter is going to be ablaze.
Oh, Kevin, it was
ESPN
perfect.
is going to go nuts. It's
It
like
was beautiful. It was beautiful today. It's May. Honestly, I think within 15 minutes, the decision to make these two teams the home opener was decided.
Just there's going to be Dak versus Hurts.
Yep.
Right. It's going to be who has the better 1-2 punch at receiver now. The Eagles with AJ Brown and Devontae, or the Cowboys with Lamb and Pickens.
Not a question.
It's going to be the Saquon Barkley return to glory tour 2.0 against who's the Cowboys going to be starting running back. I think NBC and Roger Goodell might force the Cowboys to not cut Miles Sanders just so he's on the sideline for this game.
He's got a chance to make the team, right?
A slight chance, I think. I think he's at the bottom, but the Roger Goodell's like, hey, Jer, just need that guy active week 1, please.
Keep a guy with some experience for week 1. You got to have it. It was beautiful. You would have loved this. I posted on TikTok about the fact that it's week 1, it's Birds versus Boys, and how thrilled we were. And 2 comments back to back within a minute of each other. One was a Cowboys fan saying, "Oh, the Eagles talking all that trash, and they have 2 Super Bowls. Talk to me when you get to 5." And within 60 seconds, a different comment, who did not see the other comment, said, "Here come all the Cowboys fans talking about 5 Super Bowls and how we're 3 off." And I'm like, this is beautiful. This is just, we get 4 months of this. And it's fantastic. All day comment section. Oh, Dak owns Philly. He's 9-4. Eagles fans like, who cares? We won the Super Bowl twice. We made the playoffs 17 years out of 25. What are we talking about? So it's just been a beautiful, beautiful moment where the fan bases are ready to roll, and it's May 13th.
I want to shift gears for 1 second here because it just popped into my head, and this is how your brain and my brain work. I have to give an homage to someone who just retired, one of our favorite quarterbacks. Do you know these little stats about Derek Carr? He is 9th all time in terms of money that he's made, over $200 million.
Remarkable.
He has thrown for over 40,000 yards. He has lost to 31 NFL franchise teams, and he has never won a playoff game.
That's honestly harder to do, I feel like, to last that long and not do any of those things.
Like, what? I don't. I think he's going to come back in like 2 years because they said he could do the shoulder surgery and have a chance to come back. It's
that did feel a little under the table-ish, where they didn't want to guarantee him his money, but he gets to keep his roster bonus. So it's like, yeah, you get $20 million, but we don't want to pay the rest. So fair. I think it's a fair deal to walk away and he can rehab. And you're right. I think there is a chance he's back, but
that was 2 mornings in a row where I was rubbing my eyes and looked at my phone. I was like, what?
Oh, what? Today I saw it. What was it? It was like 7:45. This came out that we were playing the Cowboys, and I've been revving ever since. Like I'm so excited. It's May. I gotta pace myself. I gotta pace. This is like day drinking. I gotta last all day. I gotta last till September for this. So I'm excited. I'm over the moon. I cannot believe that this is happening.
And I think there really are, and like you said, we're going to go into it next week, but there are going to be some fun matchups in this game and fun details. And this is the first time the world will see George Pickens in a Cowboys uniform. What better way than it to be in Philadelphia with the guy that he is?
Hopefully it's the first time we're seeing Jahad Campbell in an Eagles uniform. There's a lot of great storylines. And really, another thing from an Eagles perspective, this is our first true banner ceremony. The last one got kind of nixed by thunderstorms. So you're telling me our first true go through the entire process banner ceremony to celebrate being Super Bowl champions comes before we take on the Dallas Cowboys. In terms of ruckus environment, you cannot beat this for the NFL.
You think Schottenheimer first reaction was like, fuck. This has got to be my first. Or do you think he's more of a like, you know what? This is bulletin board material all off season.
I think it's bulletin board material all season. And I think this is actually good for the Cowboys because one of the clips that you and I had an argument about from 2023, hilariously, because it didn't really work out for either of our teams, is now popping back up on TikTok, people engaging with it. And it's us arguing after the Cowboys lost close in Philly. And I think about that, and that's how I still feel to this day about Dak Prescott. It's like, I can't keep hearing the ifs and the buts, and it's close. Because if it's 9 years, then this is kind of what it is.
Yep.
This has a chance to be like a new era. If you go to Philadelphia and you win and there's no quarterback injuries and there's no major injuries anywhere, and this is how you start your season with new players and a new coaching staff. Like, I think this could set the tone truly for a different era in Dallas. And I think there was, you can attest to this more than me, but I think there was some embarrassment last year.
Oh, yeah.
If you go on the road in Philly and win week 1, that erases that. I think you have a full fan base bought back in. So I think you're probably happy with this.
Yes. The bandwagon will be back in full throttle if they go to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then they lose to, the Panthers week 2.
That is true.
But I just can't believe, and this is the second time the Cowboys in the last 4 years or so will be opening on the road against Super Bowl champs. They did it against Brady and the Bucs as well, which was,
and that was a really close game as well. So I think that was I could see this game going very similar to that.
And I will say George Pickens, new receiver in Dallas. If the score is, I don't know, you're losing 28-25 and there's a couple seconds left and it's 4th down and you're in the red zone in Philly, get on the field and don't say you're tired like somebody did before.
Mark Cooper.
Cowboys.
You'd be shocked how I did another TikTok and it was like, oh, give me your favorite random Eagles game that you love. And a lot of people choose that 17-9 game, which I totally agree. But just going back, so this home opener reminds me of 2 Eagles games. One, obviously, was the home opener in 2018 after winning the Super Bowl when they played the Falcons and they got the goal line stop in that game, just like they did in the playoffs the year prior to lead to that Super Bowl. And the other game was against the Cowboys in 2023 that I mentioned a little earlier, where it was a close to a goal line stop there at the end. Cowboys driving, Josh Sweat gets a sack, time's running, back of the end zone, incomplete, one more play, down to CD, gets tackled at the 3. And those two, when I saw this at 7:45 this morning, those are the first 2 games I thought of. And I think if you get a game that ends similar to that, man, we might reach new levels of loud at Lincoln Financial Field.
Just don't give me the Ben DiNucci game.
No. That's the least memorable Eagles-Cowboys game I think I've ever
But it was very memorable going into it, right?
Very memorable going out of it. But then think about it, just from our point of view, the first topic that we had on this show was that year, and our first topic was, will we get to watch football this year? Are they gonna play football this year? And now here we are discussing our 2 teams starting the entire NFL season, and one of our teams getting to raise a banner during that game, and we kick it all off, and we're going to be previewing this for 4 months. In our wildest dreams, we would have never envisioned getting this moment as a podcast in less than 4 years.
I feel like we need to at least be in the parking lot. I don't know if we'll get in the build, like the tickets are ready or I saw like $450 for up top.
God, man.
But
we're gonna have to start selling feed picks or organs or something.
I think we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to the people here, to do some sort of something.
Is it a tax write-off? How do we get ourselves into the stadium?
Schitt's Creek. You just write it off.
It's a write-off.
Just write it off.
You write it off.
Write it off. Maybe I'll ask my tax guy.
Yeah.
So if I buy these tickets,
we gotta scheme our way in somehow.
How can we? I'll see what I can do.
I mean, under the Holiday Inn because the Holiday Inn's gone.
I'm very interested too. There's usually a decent amount of Cowboys fans there, but I don't think Eagles fans are going to be selling tickets wildly to this one.
No, I don't. This is not an anti-Cowboys thing. I don't think there's going to be that many tickets.
There's
I think
going to be some that are like, I can pay for 2 seasons of tickets with just selling 2, but that's not going to be the majority.
No, yeah, I think part of the reason for the drive in demand is I don't think a lot of the season ticket holders are going to sell their tickets to this game. Again, it could not be more perfect that they're playing week 1 in prime time, raising a Super Bowl banner and playing the Cowboys. Like, if you ask any Eagles fan, like, do you want to go to this game? It's yes. No matter how much money you want to make, it's like, this feels like a priceless moment.
Yes.
Before the game. Hopefully the game is priceless as well, but you know what I mean?
Like Aiden said, we're going to dive deep next week with 2 of our favorite people. And we're going to actually do a full preview show, and it's going to be hilarious.
I went on
Aiden's idea.
I thought we're going to beat it to the punch. We're going to beat everybody to the punch. We're going to preview the game next week in May.
You know what I think we should do?
I went on a walk at lunch, and I was already dreaming up scenarios of the game. Already in my brain. Oh, Quinyon does this. Makuba's on the field. He does. I'm already dreaming up scenarios. It's been 6 hours since I've known that this game is occurring, and I've already come up with 32 different endings.
I'll tell you what. I was listening to Brian Broaddus and Jeff Kavanaugh this morning as I was working, and they said Brian Broaddus swears he believes that the Eagles have upgraded at safety with Makuba over Chauncey Gardner. He said the Eagles are so good at knowing when to get rid of players. And he thinks it's going to be. Now, that may not be week 1.
That's the thing.
But eventually.
That I agree with. I totally agree with him and with that sentiment. I think one of the bonuses to Makuba is the amount of football that he's played, especially at high levels at Clemson and at Texas, and just constantly being on the field, constantly guiding people while he's on the field, constantly knowing where to be. I think that was definitely one of the draws for the Eagles. But like you said, does he know where to be week 1 when CeeDee Lamb's going by you? Maybe not. Or like what angle to take when CeeDee Lamb is crossing in the slant instead of like when you're playing Vanderbilt. So it'll be a little different for him, but we'll see. And hey, that's even saying that he wins the starting role. I think at some point you'll probably see him be the starting safety, but it could be Sidney Brown out there. We don't know yet, but that's the beauty of it, is it kind of evens the playing field a little bit, where we both got a lot of new stuff going on that we got to work out. Going into that,
and that's going to make it fun. So I believe what we should do is next week, the earliest preview show of all time, and then week of the game, we have the 2 of them back on, and we do the exact same actual preview show, and then we kind of compare what has changed.
I love that. I love that idea.
So earliest, and then like I think we should do it like Wednesday. Earliest and then latest.
Yeah. earliest preview. Yeah, that's perfect. I love TV shows that do like callbacks to earlier episodes, and comedy routines that do callbacks and end with a callback. So this is the podcast, the football podcast version of that. I'm all in.
It's perfect.
It's a great idea.
It's perfect. So look out for that next week. I mean, I got nothing else. The Cowboys could be just young and dumb enough to walk in there and not know better, and new play caller, new coach, and just go out and do it. And the Eagles are, right, like too high almost, or they could just be walking into Death Valley, and the place is just going to be going too nuts. And I feel like if there's a coach in the NFL, there's multiple of them, but Sirianni, I think, will have this team locked and loaded for this game. It's not like it's going to be too high for them.
This is the perfect Jalen Hurts game, because everyone's going to come out there and blow a gasket in quarter 1. Like we're going to be using 80% of our total energy just off adrenaline in the first quarter of seeing the banner here in the crowd, being back in football in general in week 1. And this is the perfect time to have the demeanor of one Jalen Hurts in a game like this, where I will not be calm at any point during this game. We know that. So it's good to have him around.
He's just going to look up at the banner and just be like,
yeah,
turn around and go back to the bench.
Yep. He'll look up and it'll be good. And he'll be like, all right, bet. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to work.
Can this be over now? Can we play football?
Oh, I can't wait. I rewatched the Super Bowl on Sunday.
I saw it was on NFL Network, correct?
It was. Yeah, they've been replaying all the playoff games. It was even more dominant than I remembered. It was crazy. Because you remember the sacks or the fumbles or the pick six, obviously, the dagger. There are so many non-sack plays where they're just terrorizing that offensive line. It's wild. So it had me. I watched that yesterday, and or Saturday, and I was so fired up watching that. And I was like, now I just want to watch football again. Then to lead into today, where it's like, you know when you're gonna watch football again? Where the Eagles play the Cowboys to start the year. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. This is perfect.
I've said it the day of the Super Bowl. I said it after, and I'll continue to say it. I've never seen a team more locked in than I witnessed the Philadelphia Eagles during that Super Bowl.
Dialed. You could feel it all week that they were dialed in, and boy, did it pay off. Oh my goodness. And it'll be interesting. And if we leave with this, I'm going to do a schedule prediction show. I would not be shocked to see Eagles Chiefs week 2. Just going to leave it there.
After the Chiefs are in Brazil week 1.
Yep, because then they are guaranteed to have a home game.
Yeah.
So there you go. Pretty much. And we play at home week 1 for sure. We know that. They play it might be a home game, but they'll have to play at Arrowhead week 2. It gets them a little extra time. If you remember, the Eagles played in Brazil, and then they played on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Chiefs could play in Brazil, play on Monday Night Football, saves them some time. So we'll see. I think it's possible. And they've been trying to make their first Monday Night Football game of the year a spectacle, and then week 3 go into the doubleheader. So we'll see.
Just think about the difference in those two franchises. You get literally punched in the mouth and destroyed, and now you're being sent to Brazil, and the Eagles just sit at home against their bitter rivals and get to raise a banner.
Chilling at home, all things go. Man, I cannot wait. I can't believe it's May. We're just hitting summer.
I know, and I do not. Let's not rush summer. That's what we always say.
No.
I want to rush summer. We're going to enjoy every moment of it.
Yep.
But while enjoying it, we're going to be talking about this
in the back of your head, because that's the other thing. When summer is ending, you get sad because it's the end of warm weather. It's the end of beach time. It's the end of all vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of it, awaits this golden egg of a football game and of a football season. So you never hit that like seasonal depression, at least in the early stages of September, because you're saying to yourself, wow, we get to watch the Eagles play. We get to watch the Cowboys play the Eagles. Like,
you know what usually like cures me of that seasonal depression? It usually comes in, it's like Labor Day weekend, and it's just
college football.
It is the first time I turn on the TV and College Game Day's on, and I see the crowd, and I see the camera come down, and I'm like, oh, we're back.
That moment, and one of the all-time we're back moments was 2021 when the crowds were back, and they did Enter Sandman at Virginia Tech against North Carolina, and they were the Thursday night opener.
Yep.
And this week they had Metallica perform at Lane Stadium at Virginia Tech, and it was incredible.
They caused a mini earthquake, I think.
They raised the seismic graph.
Yep.
Unreal.
Amazing.
What a moment.
And that is what football does, everybody.
And that's what the Eagles are going to do. If we get a goal line standing against the Cowboys week 1, we're going to see it on the seismic graph.
God, I love it. I love every second of it. All right, so we will be doing a schedule release. Aiden is going to be doing a prediction. Then we are going to be going live right here on the YouTube page during the NFL schedule release show, just like we did during the NFL draft. We will both have our schedule predictions. I think we should put them out on Twitter too. Maybe we could each have one for our team, post them out there right before the show, and then we'll be going live, reacting week by week to the NFL schedule. Can't wait.
1 down, 17 more to go.
So if you don't want to miss that, and if you don't want to miss the world's earliest preview show next week with 2 of our bestest friends, I don't want to announce who yet, and we're going to leak it very soon. If you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you are subscribed right here to our YouTube channel. You follow us everywhere we are on social media, Birds vs. Boys, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts. Hey, that's where we are as well. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're an Eagles fan, you need to be ecstatic. If you're a Cowboys fan, you need to be ecstatic, maybe a little bit worried, but happy. Hey, everybody's 0-0. We're just starting the summer. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I get this as a present. It's just wonderful. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Aiden, I'll see you in a couple months.
See you in September.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.